Why did Jesus have to suffer? Why couldn't the Father just say, go and start the church, live a long life, and then return to me? That's from Bob in West Virginia.
That's a great question, Bob. The phrasing of the question, though, is a little off, because it's not that Jesus had to suffer. It's that Jesus wanted to suffer. And here's what Jesus is thinking about in his suffering. It's a twofold objective. To begin with, he views his suffering as a gift of self, as I was just saying at the end of the last question. And that gift of self he views as love, right? So love being gift of self, there is no greater love that a man can have than to give his life for his friends. That unconditional love, which he is manifesting in the world, is going to do two things for us. So he wants to do these two things for us. The number one thing that it does for us is it redeems us. This unconditional act of love is like such a bright light, it's such an infinite light, that it can quell all darkness within ourselves, within our souls, within the world. He intends to literally outshine the darkness within us and the world, which is linked to the second point. Jesus believes that his mission is to defeat Satan. Yes, in the temptations already, when Jesus does not succumb to the temptations, already Satan is defeated. At this juncture, Jesus has this supreme authority over the demons. They are literally beholding to him, right? He just approaches them and they're already scared, right? What do you want of us, Jesus of Nazareth, right? And of course, they're scared to death of him. They're scared that he will push them into the abyss. You know, put us into the pigs, do anything, you know, but don't put us into the pure abyss, you know. And of course, you know, Jesus has this power over them. But Jesus' final culminating act in his mission is that unconditional gift of self, that unconditional act of love. It's there that Satan is defeated. What Satan doesn't realize ahead of time, he thinks he is on the path to his glory. He's going to get these people to just butcher this man. And what Jesus has already checkmated him. As Satan is going through his plan, Satan is literally committing his own suicide, as it were. I mean, he's basically pushing Jesus into the unconditional redemptive act of love, which is going to be his final defeat. And of course, as Jesus dies on the cross, forgives his persecutors for doing it, turns this act into a complete gift of self. At the very moment he dies, Satan is aware, oh no, you know, that's curtains for me. So Jesus wanted to do that. He didn't have to do it. He wanted to defeat Satan definitively. He wanted to follow, you know, the Father's will to defeat Satan completely, and of course to bring that unrestricted light, that unrestricted love into the world, which is going to defeat.
Well, let me ask you a question, Father, based on what you were just talking about, because you were talking about, you know, kind of the demons, and I don't know whether this question makes sense or not, but do demons suffer? And if so, how do they suffer?
Yeah, actually, demons do suffer, and of course, you know, part of the way, and you know, I don't know if I should bring up exorcisms here, but I mean it's very clear from the fact that if you just put holy water on a demon, or you bring the Eucharist next to a demon, right? Just holiness itself can cause a demon to suffer. Just being in the presence of the holy, just a holy icon can cause a demon to suffer. But more than that, what's happening is, there's a two-edged sword, to a choice of evil in anybody's life, including, right, a demon is a fallen kind of angel, right? A lesser angel than Satan, albeit, but nevertheless an angel. And evil causes suffering to anybody who indulges in it. I mean, people, can choose evil. An angel can choose evil because, of course, of egocentricity, the desire to dominate people, and the desire to worship oneself. Now, you can say, well, there's a certain kind of pleasure that comes. Yes, there's a perverse pleasure that comes from self-worship, dominating others, and from complete egocentricity. Yes, there's a perverse pleasure. But at the same time, there's this separation from God. There's a separation from love. There's literally a repulsion to love which begins to develop, which of course produces that loneliness, emptiness, alienation, right, which is it's pervasive. The darkness of hell is dark for the demons too. So for all intents and purposes, absolutely demons can suffer. And of course, going to that place, not being able to wander the earth, but being, constrained to the darkness of hell, of course, is the last thing they want, which is why they're begging Jesus not to do that to them.
Right.
And of course, but it's his prerogative to do so. He has been victorious over Satan completely. And by the way, just the mention of Jesus' name can send Satan and send demons flying from you.
Right.
Just in the name of Jesus, go from here. In the name of Jesus, you must go. And you can use the name of Jesus, and they are going to obey.